Hello everyone, welcome to Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services. The video on monthly policy review, which is commonly known as MPR, and monthly policy review is released by PRS, that is PRS Legislative Research, and I'll be discussing MPR or monthly policy review for the month of June. Whatever news, bill, important government decision that were there for the month of June, we'll discuss. Some of the relevant point will be discussed in this session, and this particular session is meant to help all the aspirants who are appearing for civil services. In general, this will help you for the part of prelims and mains examination. So there are a lot of content to be discussed, and this session is going to be fruitful for all the aspirants who are preparing for the civil services. So without any further ado, let's get started. And before I begin the session, just to give you the brief about the PRS Legislative Research, it was founded in 2005, an independent research initiative. It supports the Member of Parliament and Member of Legislative Assemblies to provide details about the legislation and debate that is ongoing in the Parliament. And it is based in New Delhi. For more details, you can refer to their website. There are a lot of important blogs and content that you can find. Now, moving ahead, if you're new to our channel, do not forget to subscribe. Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services on YouTube. If you like this video, if you find this video informative and helpful, do hit that like button. So let's start the session with the first article or the first news, that is Cabinet approve a revival package for BSNL. There are a lot of debate that is ongoing when it comes to BSNL, that is Bharat Sanchar Nigam Limited. It's a government entity, it's a telecom company that has not been performing well for the past couple of years, right? Government has a lot of revival plan, but to a larger extent, the substantial progress has not yet been seen. Now, to further get into the revival package, government has come up with a part of the new revival package for BSNL. So the Union Cabinet has approved a revival package for BSNL involving a total outlay. Initially, that is for 89,047 crore rupees, right? And the package provides for allotment of 4G and 5G spectrum for the BSNL through the equity infusion. If you see the part of 5G penetration in India, there are a lot of other companies that has come up with, be it's Airtel, Jio, and even the merger of Vodafone and the part of Idea commonly known as VI. तो ये सारे companies हैं जो कि already India में they are operating with the 5G. So to get in the par and the excellence with the competitors, a government is also looking to revive the BSNL. Now it seeks to enable and provide BSNL with 4G and 5G services across the state and across country. Now, covering the rural and uncovered villages, fixed wireless access service spectrum for the competitive non-public network. Although the penetration for the private telecom companies have also reached to the last mile, बट गवर्नमेंट की ये कोशिश होती है कि BSNL की जो पेनिट्रेशन है वो काफ़ी ज़्यादा हो, विलेज लेवल पे हो, और इसकी जो सुविधाएं हैं, द बेनिफिट्स आर देयर, दैट शुड बी देयर टू ईच एंड एवरी इंडिविजुअल. नाउ ऑथोराइज कैपिटल्स की अगर बात करें, तो ऑथोराइज कैपिटल विल बी इंक्रीज्ड फ्रॉम लाइक इनिशियली 1,50,000 crore rupees, then it has increased to 2,10,000 crore. The authorized capitals refers to the maximum amount of share a company that is allowed to use for its shareholder. This is what the definition for authorized capital is. Now, this is a third such revival package in the recent year, because I have told you in the part the government is looking forward for the revival package and they are doing their best, but still some conclusive result has not yet been met. Now, in 2019, the package worth of 69,000 crore rupees was approved by the Union Cabinet. नाउ पर्पस की अगर बात करें, जो कैपिटल इन्फ्यूज की गई है BSNL के लिए, उसके क्या क्या बेनिफिट्स होंगे, व्हाट इज द पर्पस ऑफ दिस कैपिटल आउटले दैट इज देयर बाय द गवर्नमेंट. द फर्स्ट एंड फॉरमोस्ट दैट इज इन प्रिंसिपल मर्जर ऑफ द BSNL MTNL. मैंने आपको बताया भारत संचार निगम लिमिटेड और महानगर टेलीकॉम निगम लिमिटेड, ये दोनों को मर्ज की जाएगी ताकि एक फ्यूजन बनाई जा सके, एंड दैट इज समथिंग दैट विल हेल्प इवन फॉर द रिवाइवल. Now, capital infusion for the allotment of 4G spectrum, this will gradually increase up to 5G so that the last reach milestones would be increased. The cost towards voluntary retirement scheme. This was forwarded by another package, that is 1.64 lakh crore rupees in 2022, which include the second package. और the second package में कुछ specific चीजों को रखी गई है, that is allocations for the spectrum of ongoing 4G services, settlement of the statutory dues that is there for 33,404 crore rupees, and that is for conversion into equity, and financial support for the capital expenditure. So this is how the entire purpose allocated capital will be utilized. Now the second, that is government approves subsidies for fertilizer. If you see the part of fertilizer utilization, that has increasingly the part of that has been used in the India recent time, काफी ज़्यादा use हुई है, and seeing the part that it has been increased to a larger extent, government ने subsidies को तो बढ़ाया, but यहाँ पे nano urea की भी बात की गई है. Nano urea is something that is very important, right? So in the context if आप समझ सकेंगे कि how the government is looking forward to actually reduce the part of overall uses of fertilizers और nano urea जैसे चीज़ों को incorporate करके sustainable farming की भी बात की गई. So the Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs have approved several schemes aimed at providing the part of subsidized fertilizers to farmers. See, subsidy to the fertilizers is something that is inevitable in the context of Indian farming, where close to 60% of India's population is, the rural population, or be the part of population is engaged in farming. तो इस तरह की चीज़ों को देखते हुए fertilizers की subsidy mandatory. Now, this is expected to encourage the part of judicious use of fertilizers, reduce input cost for the farmers, and promote the organic farming. Organic farming के लिए कई ऐसी initiative है, प्रधानमंत्री परंपरागत कृषि योजना, Govardhan scheme. There are a lot of other things that has come up to ensure that the part of organic farming is promoted in the country. कुछ की फीचर्स की अगर बात करें जो गवर्नमेंट ने यूटिलाइज द पार्ट ऑफ फर्टिलाइजर सब्सिडीज जो दी गई हैं उसके कुछ की फीचर्स. फर्स्ट, कॉल फॉर द यूरिया सब्सिडी स्कीम. इसके अंदर जो फर्टिलाइजर है सच एज यूरिया एंड नाइट्रोजन आर सब्सिडाइज फॉर द यूज ऑफ फार्मर, और कैबिनेट ने अप्रूव किया है यूरिया सब्सिडी टिल द ईयर दैट इज 2024 and 25. The central government is expected to continue this scheme with the maximum indigenization and the production of urea. See, urea is essential. We cannot deny the fact, but overuse is creating a problem, right? The union budget में central government ने estimations 1.31 lakh crore rupees की urea subsidy है, which is 24% to be spent towards the import. Now, there's nano-urea, that's what I was talking about. It is again very important. 8 nano-urea plant will be communized by 2025 and 26. Different location has been sanctioned by the government. And this nano-fertilizers, or you can say the nano-urea, involve higher nutrient content, which will be used efficiently for the cost less to farmer. और सल्फर कोटेड यूरिया की बात करें जिसे यूरिया गोल्ड भी कहते हैं, will be introduced in the country. It is considered to be the most economical and efficient way, जहाँ पे नीम कोटेड यूरिया के साथ farmers को भी काफ़ी benefit होगी. This is something very important for prelims examination. There can be a direct question, and even you can use the fodder point in the mains part. It is also expected to address the part of deficiency of sulfur in the soil. तो सल्फर की deficiency एक बड़ी problem है जो कि नैनो यूरिया और जो सल्फर कोटेड यूरिया है उनके थ्रू पूरी की जा सकती है. Now, promotions of organic farming, as I have told you in the beginning, that this is something that government has been focusing on the part. तो बात करें organic farming की, this has approved the scheme for marketing of the organic fertilizers. This include the fermented organic manure and phosphate rich organic manure. ये दो important components होंगे. Market development assistance for 1500 per metric ton will be provided, and the scheme is expected to address the challenge of managing the crop residue, part of stubble burning which is there, and this is creating a lot many problem for the environmental part, and environmental pollution is contributed to the stubble burning, providing additional sources of income to the farmers. So this is how the things will work out. And even बात करें the things that is the waste, the byproduct that is there, and even for molasses and other things that can be used for ethanol blending, which government is looking forward with. Now the other news, that is the carbon credit trading scheme 2023, something very important for the environment section, both for prelims and mains examination. Why? For prelims because of the Indian Forest Service examination which is there. तो उस वजह से environment related जो topics हैं काफी important हो जाते हैं. Ministry of Power has notified the carbon credit trading scheme under the Energy Conservation Act, and the carbon credit refers to the value sanctions to achieve the reductions of the greenhouse gas emissions. कुछ key features की अगर बात करें, first is the insurance of the carbon credit. Ministry of Power ने notify किया है that the entities that is having obligations will have to comply with the trading scheme based on the recommendations that was there by the Bureau of Energy Efficiency. It's a nodal body, it's an apex body when it comes to the part of the regulation and even when it comes to the compliances part. तो Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change ने भी notify किया है intensity को, जो even with the target for the obligized entities and recommendations by the Ministry of Power. So these two ministry, that is Ministry of Power and Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, are coordinating on this part. So obligated entities will earn the carbon credit certificates. इनको certificates दी जाएंगी अगर इन्होंने recommendations पूरी की हैं तो. And if they surpass the target, they will be assigned, and this will be issued by BE, that is Bureau of Energy Efficiency. Very important point. Take a note. Prelims में आपसे डायरेक्ट सवाल पूछे जा सकते हैं कि जो कार्बन क्रेडिट की सर्टिफिकेशन इशू की जाती है ऑब्लिगाइज एंटिटीज को, वो कौन सी अथॉरिटी इशू करती है. सो दैट इज बीई, ब्यूरो ऑफ एनर्जी एफिशिएंसी. The obligation entities unable to achieve this target will be required to meet the shortfall purchasing carbon credit and certificates. Now, trading की अगर बात करें, trading of carbon credit, because the certificates that will be getting ultimately will be traded, will be monetized to some extent. So the carbon credit certificates will be traded on the power exchange, registered with the Central Electricity Regulatory Commissions for this purpose, an important and powerful body. आप इसके बारे में about us जरूर पढ़ ले. This is relevant. Now, CERC will regulate the carbon credit trading activities, और जो Grid Controller of India Limited है, that will be the part that register with the scheme. Now, it will undertake the registrations for the non-obligized entities, दोनों entities के लिए होंगी, and maintain the record for the transition of share that will have the power exchange with the BE. Administrative mechanisms की अगर बात करें, the central government will constitute the National Steering Committee, which is also known as NSC. The National Steering Committee will be responsible for the government oversight in overall carbon market. And even the committee will be chaired by the Power Secretary that will have the representations from several ministries, which include the Ministry of Environment. This is the first. Ministry of Steel, the government entities that include BEE, that is Bureau of Energy Efficiency, and GCI. कुछ key functions की अगर बात करें, that is something formulations for the procedures, rules and regulations for the carbon market, formulations of the target, issuance of the carbon credit certificate. ये सारी चीजें के जो boundaries line है, जो ambits हैं, उनके अंदर ही ये सारी function ही काम करेंगी, and this will ensure that the carbon credit mechanism and the certificate that is issued after the due process which is followed. Now, framework for the compromise, settlement and technical write-off. I have also made a discussion to this news in our daily news and editorial analysis, right? If you're watching regularly, you must be aware of that. But in this part, I'll make you understand कि RBI ने important recommendations में क्या-क्या बातें कही. So the Reserve Bank of India has recently released the framework for the compromise and settlement and technical write-off. अगर बात करें compromise settlement की, ये इसका मतलब ये है that the arrangement to full settlement of the claim by the regulated entities such as bank against the borrower in cash will be done. Now this may involve the writing of a certain percentage of the dues of the borrowers. तो कुछ percentage जो negotiate होंगी उनको write off कर दिया जाएगा. The compromise settlement being categorized as a loan structure. Technical write-off involved the writing and non-performing assets from the books of the regulated entities without any waiver or claim against the borrower. Now, कुछ key features की अगर बात करें, what are the important part that has been incorporated by the Reserve Bank of India? So first is the policy settlement. किस तरह से policy को settle करनी है? Regulatory entities must have a broad approved policy for undertaking the compromise settlement and technical write-off. The policy should provide the process to be followed by such settlement. In case of the compromise settlement, the policy should provide for a permissible levels, that is write-off arriving at the settlement amount. So जो settlement amount होंगी depending upon certain percentage that is set by the Reserve Bank of India will be accordingly followed. कूलिंग ऑफ पीरियड रखी गई है ऐसे एंटिटीज जिनको बेसिकली बेनिफिट मिलेगी राइट ऑफ की. सो इन दैट केस द बोरोवर इन्वॉल्व इन द कॉम्प्रोमाइज सेटलमेंट देयर मस्ट बी अ कूलिंग ऑफ पीरियड. बाय कूलिंग ऑफ पीरियड आई मीन दैट देयर विल बी सम स्पेसिफिक टाइम ऑफ रिस्ट्रिक्शन विद इन विच दे विल नॉट बी अलाउड टू टेक द लोन. राइट, लोन अवेल करने की फैसिलिटीज उनके पास नहीं होंगी. वो कूलिंग ऑफ पीरियड रिजर्व बैंक ऑफ इंडिया ने 12 मंथ्स की रखी है. दैट इफ यू हैव डन रिसेंटली राइट ऑफ, आपको 12 महीना का वेट करना पड़ेगा. यू हैव टू वेट फॉर एटलीस्ट 12 मंथ्स टू गेट अ फ्रेश लोन डन. राइट, so the technical right of cooling off period will be as per the board approved policies for the regulated entities. ना फ्रॉड अकाउंट्स के बारे में भी कुछ इंपॉर्टेंट बातें आरबीआई ने कहा है. द रेगुलेटेड एंटिटीज में अंडरटेक द कॉम्प्रोमाइज सेटलमेंट ऑफ टेक्निकल राइट ऑफ इन रिस्पेक्ट टू द कैटेगराइज फ्रॉड एंड विलफुल डिफॉल्टर्स. This would not affect the criminal proceedings that is underway against the debtors. So जो criminal proceeding के procedures पहले थी, जो rules थे, उसे भी हटा दिया गया. There's something negotiation is done. The case will be closed off. Now, export policy for civilian use of drone, again very important. This was long pending, and even for the citizen of this country, this was a demand from many stakeholders that were the part of the drone industries. The Director General of Foreign Trade has liberalized the policy for export of drones, unmanned air vehicle, which is also known as UAV, for civilian use, right? और इसमें एक्सपोर्ट जितनी भी ड्रोन्स की जाएगी विल बी रेगुलेटेड बाय द स्पेशल केमिकल मैकेनिज्म इक्विपमेंट एंड टेक्नोलॉजी बेटर नोन एज SCOMET. Important both for prelims and mains examination. You can expect a question down the line, और अगर क्वेश्चन नहीं भी पूछी जाती है आपसे तो आप इस तरह के फोल्डर पॉइंट्स को यूज कर पाएंगे, जैसे जनरल स्टडीज के पेपर 2, स्पेसिफिकली जनरल स्टडीज पेपर 2 and 3 के पेपर्स में. Now this applies to item both for civilian and military applications. Export policy की अगर बात करें, the export is under the part of list require authorization until it has been prohibited and allowed for without any authorizations. Will be liberalized policy drone with a range of 25 kilometers with a payload of 25 kg, which will be exported under the generalized authorizations for the drone export. There should also be not fall under the certain categories, and this may be drone which one time general license will valid for 3 years. जो एक बार इनिशियली अलॉटमेंट की जाएगी लाइसेंस की, उसकी वैलिडिटी होगी 3 years की. दिस इज नॉट फॉर द लाइफ टाइम, सो डू कीप दिस इन माइंड. Now, UGC institutions deemed to be University Regulation 2023. This is again very important considering the fact India ने recently National Education Policy, it's close like 2020 में रिलीज की थी. तो उस चीज को अलाइन करते हुए बहुत सारे इंस्टीट्यूशंस की रिकॉग्निशंस पे भी ध्यान दी जा रही है. The University Grant Commissions has released the part of the regulations, और इस regulations के थ्रू प्रोवाइड की जाएगी establishment of educational institutions की deemed university की कैटेगरी किसको दी जाएगी, and this is under the regulation or the act called University Grant Commission Act of 1956. Now this regulation supersede the part of UGC regulations 2019. कुछ key features की अगर बात करें, so eligibility criteria, the deemed university of the institution must meet the eligibility criteria, that is at least 5 department होनी चाहिए उन universities के पास, और accreditations for the National Assessment and Accreditation Council NAC के साथ उनकी accreditations भी होनी चाहिए, और teacher और student का जो ratio है that is 1:20, very very important to ensure the quality. तो ये कुछ minimum eligibility criteria है that is required to be fulfilled. Now top 50 rank for the NIRF, at least for the one subject should be there, and 20 regulations की बात करें, that has allowed the cluster institutions to be deemed for the university, and these are the group of the institutions that at least have 5 departments. तो मैंने आपको 5 department की criteria पहले बता दी है. So do keep in mind, you never know what UPSC is going to ask you, but at least basics आपको in general पता होने चाहिए. System for governance, institutions will be governed as per the apex body, vice chancellor होंगे, 2 deans for the faculties, other deans will be also there, 4 nominees responding to the body, UGC और state government की तरफ से representatives को भी include की जाएगी. The council will have a power to create and make the appointment for the academic post, make rules, enforce rules against the employees. Academic Council is an important body जो कि फॉर्मेट की जाएगी. इंस्टीट्यूशंस को अपने academic councils बनाने होंगे that will supervise the rule making for the academic part for the admissions and examinations, and this can also make recommendations regarding the creations and abolitions of the department of the non-teaching post, teaching and non-teaching post के लिए basically. This will be the part prescribed for the degree and diplomas. It includes the members that is VC, Dean, faculties, and 20 teachers and 6 experts. Now, Madhyamik and Uchar Shiksha Kosh, I think something important that will create a corpus for the education. So the Ministry of Education has notified setting for the Madhyamik and Uchar Shiksha Kosh, which is also known as MUSC. MUSC is a fund that receive and collected via 4% of the health and education cess, और 4% की सेस 1% स्पेसिफिकली मार्क की जाएगी मार्क्स के लिए. तो जो 4% टोटल हेल्थ और एजुकेशन के थ्रू आ रही है, इन टोटल 4% की एलोकेशन जो 1% होगी वो मस्क के फंड में चली जाएगी, राइट. and this will be utilized for secondary and higher education. और ये जो फंड होंगी दिस इज नॉन लैप्सेबल. वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. यूपीएससी ने क्वेश्चंस पूछा हुआ है इस तरह के सवालों पे, लैप्सेबल होती है नहीं होती है, सो यू शुड टेक अ नोट ऑफ दिस, राइट. Now, accounting procedures की अगर बात करें, the ministry has established the accounting procedures and the manner for making the entities. Shortfall transfer for the MERS given the financial year must be addressed in the detailed demand grant for subsequent years. Fund allocated to the MERS are appropriated between the Department of School Education and literally and the Department of Education for rest. तो 40-60 के रेशियो में शेयर की जाएगी. The ministry has a specified scheme जहाँ पे MERS funds will be utilized और इसमें समग्र शिक्षा अभियान और नेशनल मीन्स फॉर मेरिट कम स्कॉलरशिप्स के पार्ट्स भी इंक्लूड होंगे दैट विल बी यूटिलाइज विद दिस फंड. वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. अगर आप जनरल स्टडीज़ के पेपर 3, 2 के पेपर्स को अटेम्प्ट कर रहे हैं, इवन फॉर केस स्टडीज़ इन जनरल स्टडीज़ पेपर 4, तो आप इस तरह के एग्जाम्पल्स भी यूज़ कर पाएंगे गवर्नमेंट की रिसेंट इनिशिएटिव्स पे, राइट. So this was all about for the PRS analysis for the month of June, the discussion part. We have a lot more other initiatives. This is daily news and editorial analysis, which is published on a daily basis on our YouTube channel. And I cover this from the Hindu and Indian Express, which is definitely giving you a holistic, wholesome view of the daily news. आप IAS Gazette की मैगजीन हमारे वेबसाइट से डाउनलोड कर सकते हैं, IAS ज्ञान की वेबसाइट से, which is a must read for current affairs. There are news in focus, which deals with a topic for a specific topic which is trending in the news. इस तरह के काफ़ी initiatives हैं that will help you to sail through the journey of civil services. If you have any other concern regarding admissions or any queries about the part of the admission or test series, you can reach out to us. We'll be more than happy to assist you. For time being, I'm signing off. Thank you so much for watching this video.